Ted Seifert with Zaner Ag Hedge, our guest here on Ag Day today. Ted, let's talk about the report from USDA. Any expectations with this report, something we should be looking for?
Yeah, for this February report, we're not really looking for a whole lot of changes. The trade as a whole, this is kind of a ho-hum. Basically, it's a potential for the USDA to update some of our domestic demand side of the balance sheet, but more particularly, we're looking for South American production numbers. And the USDA to this point has taken a much more sort of conservative or stair-step approach to lowering South American production with the drought issues they're having with the first season in Brazil and Argentina and Paraguay. But I don't know. I personally think it would be time for them to get a little bit more aggressive, specifically on the corn side. But if they don't, this could be a little bit of a wet blanket report. It could be a little bit bearish towards expectations. And if that's the case, I think it would just be sort of a knee-jerk thing. I think pretty quickly the trade would say, yeah, but we know the losses down there are worse. We know that the situation is a little bit more dire than what the USDA is letting on to at this point. And I think we go right back to trading South American weather and doing exactly what we're doing right now with the soybean and corn market. But who knows? Maybe the USDA decides to get a lot more aggressive. Maybe it is a surprisingly bullish report. I just don't think at the end of the day, the USDA can say anything that would be tremendously bearish, that would be a game changer in these markets. And very quickly, we'd go back to trading South American weather.
Real quick, Ted, any adjustments do you think to ethanol and demand for that?
Yeah, so the USDA just in the January report raised ethanol by 75 million bushel for corn use for ethanol. I'm thinking that they're probably wondering if they should reverse themselves a little bit on that. Personally, with ethanol stocks being at near record levels, you worry about that ethanol grind slowing down pretty aggressively. However, I really think we're going to need that ethanol for export. I think Brazil, just like in 2018, with a bad first season corn crop and a bad sugar crop, is going to need to import a significant amount of U.S. ethanol. And other global end users might need to do the same. So I'm not in the camp that thinks that ethanol needs to slow down as aggressively as some others do. I do think there needs to be a bit of a slowdown in the ethanol grind. But if I'm the USDA, I might cut off 25 million bushel. I'm not reversing the full 75 million.
Okay, well, it'll be something to watch. Appreciate it, Ted. Thank you for giving us a preview. We'll be back with more Ag Day coming up in just a minute.
For professional marketing advice specifically tailored to your needs, call Zaner Ag Hedge at 312-277-0113.